The Little Round Top Fight, Part 1. See here the situation at Gettysburg in the early afternoon on July 2. You're looking at an animated map of the second day. The time here is 1 p.m. and the map is paused. The Union Army is arranged in a horseshoe south of Gettysburg. The Confederate Army is to the north and west of Gettysburg. That morning, Major General Meade, commander of the Union Army, at first wanted to make an attack on his right, extend his flank, and attack Ewell's corps. Generals Slocum and Warren were told to look into it. Major General Slocum is the 12th Corps commander, and Brigadier General Warren is the Army's Chief of Engineers. Slocum and Warren looked at the ground and talked Meade out of an attack. Meade decided instead to build up his existing position and wait for the rest of the Union Army to arrive. General Lee, commander of the Confederate Army, decided early in the morning to attack the Union left flank. Lee was led to believe that the Union left was in the air and vulnerable. And you can see here that as late as 1 p.m. it might be. Lee ordered Lieutenant General Longstreet to lead the attack using his corps and to start the attack as soon as possible. And I'll start the animation here. Notice the Southern brigades moving in the upper left corner. The two brigades highlighted in red and green are Robertson's and Law's brigades, and they're the brigades which will end up attacking Little Round Top. Law's brigade has already had a long day. According to Bradley Gottfried in his book, Brigades of Gettysburg, they marched 28 miles in 11 hours, starting at 3 a.m., to reach the battlefield. Gottfried quotes General Longstreet writing after the war that this was the best marching done in either army to reach the field of Gettysburg, unquote. General Longstreet was ordered to attack ASAP, but Longstreet wanted to wait until more of his troops were on the battlefield, and he wasn't in position until 4 p.m. The two armies, Lee's Army of Northern Virginia and Meade's Army of the Potomac, were organized into corps. The Northern Army, totaling about 93,000 men, was grouped into 7 infantry corps and 1 cavalry corps, as you see here. Each corps was divided into divisions, divisions into brigades, brigades into regiments. And to tie this into the Little Round Top fight, on the Union side, Little Round Top was fought by 5 regiments from 2 different brigades in the 5th Corps. Those 5 regiments added up to about 1,800 men, 1,788 exactly. The largest regiment was about 450 men, the smallest about 260. 1,800 men out of an army totaling 93,000. That's about 2% of the total force. So Little Round Top was a small-scale fight in Gettysburg terms. It lasted about 3 hours. The Southern Army, totaling about 72,000 men, had 3 infantry corps and a cavalry division. On the southern side, Little Round Top was fought by 6 regiments from 2 different brigades from Hood's division of Longstreet's corps here. Those 6 southern regiments added up to a bit less than 2,400 men. On average, the southern regiments were a bit bigger, and in total the Confederates had about a 30% advantage in numbers at Little Round Top, but the numbers weren't enough, as you'll see. The 8 southern brigades here marching south are McLaws and Hood's divisions of Longstreet's corps, and they're moving to attack the Union left flank. General Lee wanted to attack up Emmitsburg Road and roll up the Union flank. Lee and his top corps commander, General Longstreet, had a running argument about this plan. The argument started the evening before and apparently continued until the attack started. And look what happened on the Union side starting about 2 p.m. One of Meade's corps commanders moves his corps forward without orders. This is Major General Sickles and the 3rd Corps. And I'm going to slide right over the juicy details about Sickles here, but there are a couple of results from moving the 3rd Corps forward like this. Number 1, the Union left flank is moved, and Lee's plan must change. Number 2, both of the 3rd Corps flanks were now in the air. The right flank does not connect to 2nd Corps, and the left flank is dominated by these hills, the Round Tops. And 3, when Sickles moved forward, his line became longer, and the 3rd Corps line is probably now too long for them to defend. Sickles' 3rd Corps has 2 divisions. See Birney's division take up a position facing southwest, and then Humphreys' division take up a position on Emmitsburg Road facing more or less west. And while they were doing this, Longstreet's 2 divisions, not knowing of the change, move into position for Lee's attack up Emmitsburg Road. Oh my, alarm bells start to ring on both sides of the battlefield. On the northern side, General Meade is alarmed by the reports he hears about 3rd Corps' position. Meade has a reserve, which is the 5th Corps. Meade tells the 5th Corps commander to bring his entire corps to the left and be quick about it. And General Meade then rode out to see the 3rd Corps position for himself. On the way, he sent Brigadier General Warren, the Army of the Potomac's chief engineer, to look at the situation on Little Round Top. Edmund Coddington, in his book, The Gettysburg Campaign, wrote that General Warren was Meade's alter ego, and that Warren seemed to operate with Meade's authority as Army commander. So Meade is riding one way, Warren the other. Both Warren and Meade discovered that the situation is worse than they thought. General Warren rode to the top of Little Round Top, here, and found the hill occupied only by a small group of Signal Corps technicians. In military terms, the hill is undefended. Stephen Sears, in his book Gettysburg, claims that General Sickles was ordered to anchor his line on the hill, and that had not happened. Sickles' left flank is down below in Devil's Den. Warren can see about a mile away that there's a Confederate battle line that has outflanked Sickles' position. And Stephen Sears wrote, "To General Warren, it was instantly clear that if rebel infantry and artillery seized Little Round Top, they would utterly dominate the Potomac Army's position on Cemetery Ridge," unquote. Warren was accompanied by a group of aides and orderlies, and according to Coddington, Warren sent aides asking for help to both General Meade and General Sickles. And then after some time, Warren rode off himself to find Major General Sykes. And I mentioned earlier that 5th Corps was Meade's reserve force, and Meade had asked their commander to move to the left. That's General Sykes. Sykes sent a message to the commander of one of his 3 divisions, Brigadier General Barnes, asking him to send a brigade to Little Round Top. The Corps commander is looking for a brigade, so the Corps commander sends an order to the division commander, who will send an order to a brigade commander. How long will that take? The Union left, right now, is outflanked by a Confederate battle line that is less than a mile away. On the southern side, when General McLaws' division began to arrive, he walked forward to look at the ground he was supposed to attack across. He was told that there were only 2 infantry regiments and a battery of artillery in his front, but McLaws was amazed and startled to instead see lots of infantry and artillery. He protested that he needed more time to get ready to attack a prepared position and started moving his brigades to broaden the front of the attack. General Longstreet then apparently changed the plan so that Hood's division, which was further south, would lead the attack. But Hood's attack was also delayed, while Major General Hood tried to change the attack plan so that he would attack south and east around Round Top rather than up Emmitsburg Road. Hood was also upset about the plan. Hood was overruled, and he was told by his boss, General Longstreet, "We must obey the orders of General Lee," unquote. So here we are at 4 p.m. Hood's division, with 4 brigades, is in position at the south end of the Confederate line. On Hood's left is McLaws' division, with 4 brigades. Hood will attack first, then McLaws. To the north is Anderson's division from A.P. Hill's corps. They will pitch in on McLaws' left when the attack reaches their position. On the Union side of the line, see that the Round Tops are empty, and Sickles' 3rd Corps are here. This group of brigades here is 5th Corps, the Union Reserve. 5th Corps had just arrived, marching up Baltimore Pike, and this one brigade here is Vincent's brigade from 5th Corps. As I said earlier, General Meade had earlier ordered 5th Corps Commander General Sickles to bring his entire corps to the Union left. As part of that process, Vincent's brigade was the first unit to move. Colonel Vincent was ordered to move his brigade toward the wheat field, here. Somewhere in this area, a messenger is looking for General Barnes, asking for a brigade to move to Little Round Top. In Part 2, I'll shift over to a more detailed map where we can get a closer view at the race for Little Round Top. Who will get there first?